Why are so many medical device companies struggling with EU MDR? Let's be honest. For many medical device manufacturers, the European market has become one of the most attractive and one of the most frustrating markets to enter. A few years ago, obtaining CE marking under the old Medical Device Directive was relatively straightforward. Today, everything has changed. Manufacturers face longer approval timelines, more demanding clinical requirements, increased scrutiny from notified bodies, higher compliance costs, extensive documentation requirements, post-market surveillance obligations. Many companies begin their European expansion journey thinking, we already have FDA clearance, we already have ISO 13485, we already sell globally, so EU MDR should be easy. Then reality hits. Months turn into years, budgets increase, projects stall, notified body questions pile up, launch dates get postponed, and competitors enter the market first. The problem isn't usually the product. The problem is not understanding the EU MDR regulatory landscape. That's exactly what this guide is designed to solve. Today, we'll cover what EU MDR really requires, step-by-step registration process, device classification, CE marking pathway, notified body involvement, timeline expectations, cost breakdown, documentation requirements, common mistakes, hidden compliance risks, how to speed up approval, how OMC Medical can help. Let's begin. Part 1. Understanding EU MDR, the foundation of European market access. Before discussing registration, let's understand what EU MDR actually is. EU MDR stands for European Union Medical Device Regulation, EU 2017-445. It replaced the Medical Device Directive. The goal? Improve patient safety, increase transparency, strengthen clinical evidence requirements, improve traceability, enhance post-market monitoring. Why EU MDR feels more difficult? Many manufacturers underestimate how much stricter MDR became. Under MDR, more devices require notified body review. Clinical evidence requirements increased. Technical documentation expectations expanded. Post-market surveillance became mandatory. UD requirements were introduced. Economic operator responsibilities increased. Pain point. Many companies still use documentation structures designed for MDD. That often results in major non-conformities, technical file deficiencies, delayed certification. Part 2. Step 1. Device classification. Classification determines everything: timeline, cost, documentation, clinical requirements, approval pathway. Class I. Low-risk devices. Examples: examination gloves, wheelchairs, non-invasive products. Class 2A. Moderate risk devices. Examples: ultrasound devices, infusion pumps. Class 2B, higher risk devices. Examples: ventilators, surgical lasers. Class 3, highest risk devices. Examples: implantable devices, heart valves, coronary stents. Common mistake. A software company classifies its device as Class I. After MDR assessment, device becomes Class 2A. Result: unexpected notified body review, unexpected costs, unexpected delays. Part 3, Step 2, Regulatory Gap Analysis. Before spending money on certification, perform a gap analysis. This identifies missing documentation, clinical evidence gaps, risk management weaknesses, labeling issues, PMS deficiencies. Documents reviewed during gap analysis: technical file, CER, risk management file, IFU, labels, ISO 13885 documentation, validation reports. Timeline: 2 to 6 weeks. Cost: typically $2,000 to $15,000 plus, depending on complexity. Part 4, Step 3, Quality Management System. EU MDR expects a mature quality management system. Most manufacturers implement ISO 13885, required processes, CAPA, complaint handling, design controls, supplier management, change management, training, risk management. Common mistake. Treating ISO 13885 as a certificate rather than a living system. Auditors quickly identify weak implementation. Timeline: 3 to 12 months. Cost: implementation $5,000 to $50,000 plus. Certification $5,000 to $25,000 plus. Part 5, Step 4. Appoint an EU authorized representative. If your company is outside Europe, you need an EU authorized representative. Responsibilities: regulatory communication, technical documentation access, vigilance support, compliance oversight. Timeline: 1 to 2 weeks. Cost: $1,000 to $10,000 plus annually. Common mistake: choosing the cheapest AR without evaluating expertise. This often creates communication problems later. Part 6, Step 5, Build MDR compliant technical documentation. This is the heart of MDR compliance. Device description must include intended use, product variants, specifications, accessories. Risk management file based on ISO 14971 must include hazard identification, risk evaluation, risk controls, benefit risk analysis. Clinical evaluation report, CER, one of the most scrutinized documents, must demonstrate safety, clinical performance, benefit risk acceptability. Verification and validation may include biocompatibility, electrical safety, EMC testing, software validation, sterility validation, labeling, device label, packaging label, IFU, UDI information, post-market surveillance plan, mandatory under MDR. Timeline: 2 to 8 months. Cost: 10,000 to 150,000 plus, depending on complexity. Part 7. Step 6. Clinical evaluation and clinical evidence. One of the biggest pain points today. Manufacturers often ask, can we use literature? Sometimes, but not always. Possible evidence sources: clinical investigations, literature review, equivalent devices, post-market data. Common mistake: using weak equivalence arguments. Example: manufacturer claims equivalence without sufficient technical comparison. Result: notified body rejection. Part 8. Step 7. Notified body review. For most devices beyond Class I, notified body review is required. Review activities: QMS audit, technical file review, CR review, risk management review. Common problems: incomplete documentation, weak CER, poor PMS planning, missing validation reports. Timeline: 6 to 18 months, sometimes longer. Cost: 10,000 to 100,000 plus, depending on scope. Part 9. Complete timeline breakdown. Gap analysis: 2 to 6 weeks. ISO 13485 implementation: 3 to 12 months. Technical documentation: 2 to 8 months. CER development: 1 to 6 months. Notified body review: 6 to 18 months. Typical market entry: Class I, 3 to 6 months. Class 2A, 9 to 18 months. Class 2B, 12 to 24 months. Class 3, 18 to 36 months. Part 10. Complete cost breakdown. Let's discuss what manufacturers care about most: cost. Strategy and classification: 1,000 to 5,000 plus. Gap analysis: 2,000 to 15,000 plus. ISO 13485, 5,000 to 50,000 plus. EU authorized representative: 1,000 to 10,000 plus annually. Technical documentation: 10,000 to 150,000 plus. Clinical evaluation: 5,000 to 100,000 plus. Notified body fees: 10,000 to 100,000 plus. Total budget: many projects range from 25,000 to 300,000 plus, depending on device class. Part 11. Top 10 mistakes that delay MDR approval. Mistake 1. Wrong device classification. Mistake 2. Weak CER. Mistake 3. Incomplete technical file. Mistake 4. Poor risk management documentation. Mistake 5. Weak PMS planning. Mistake 6. Ignoring UDI requirements. Mistake 7. Late notified body engagement. Mistake 8. Poor change control. Mistake 9. Choosing vendors solely on cost. Mistake 10. Treating MDR as a paperwork exercise. MDR is a complete lifecycle compliance system. Final takeaway: EU MDR is not impossible, but it is significantly more demanding than many manufacturers expect. The companies that succeed are not necessarily the ones with the biggest budgets. They're the companies that plan early, build strong documentation, generate robust clinical evidence, work with experienced regulatory experts, treat compliance as a business strategy, not just a certification project. Talk to OMC Medical. Planning to enter Europe? Need support with EU MDR strategy, device classification, CE marking, EU authorized representative services, ISO 13485 compliance, clinical evaluation reports, technical documentation, notified body preparation, post-market surveillance. OMC Medical can help. Our regulatory experts guide manufacturers from concept to CE certification and beyond. Talk to an OMC Medical expert today. Request a regulatory assessment. Master EU MDR. Reduce approval delays and achieve successful European market entry with confidence. See you in the next OMC Medical Regulatory Guide.